Hey guys, how you doing? It's Gianni. I just wanted to get on here and say that I'm super excited for the best show on Stars to be back. BMF season 3 airs March 1st, and I'm so excited to see it. It's way better than Power. I don't even like Power. Like, I'm just here for a paycheck. I would rather be on BMF. So, season 3 airs March 1st. Don't forget. I'm super excited.
We going national.
Boss player, till the day, till the day. All eyes on me.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love BMF, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today, we're going to be talking about BMF Season 3, Episode 1. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And as I told you guys last night, this episode was action-packed. A lot of different things was going on in this episode. You probably had to watch it a second time just to catch every small detail. Meech was making all types of business moves, but we know he got some enemies down there in Atlanta. And of course, your boy Terry, he's up in Detroit trying to run the business his way. So you already know it's going to be some issues between the brothers as far as how the business is ran. Now, the season does feel, at least as of right now, it feels a tad bit different because we're used to seeing characters like Lamar and B Mickey around, but now it is time to move on from that. You know what I'm saying? It's the new journey without those characters, and I can't wait to see how everything's going to play out by the end of the season. But as I told you guys, I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in the episode. If I miss anything, let me know down below. Let's begin the recap. What did we see in episode 1 titled Detroit versus Everybody? Now, the episode starts out in 2007. We know Meech and Terry end up getting arrested. We can hear Meech's voice talking about they got caught because of Terry got caught on the phones with the whole wiretap or whatever. And Meech is talking about, look, he's going to take the plea. He ended up stating that, look, they got nothing on me for real, but they got a lot of stuff on you. But he is still willing to take the plea, serve some time or whatever, and end up trying to get out early if possible. Terry said, you know what? Hell nah. He ain't taking the plea. He wants a trial. He thinks that God got him and he gonna be good. They end up arguing, having a big disagreement. We know Terry was talking about when are you going to take responsibility for your actions and all that stuff. And then it cuts out and we go back to when Markeisha was being brought into the hospital because we know she got shot at the end of season 2. And your boy Terry, he is, worrying, hoping that she makes it. They're talking about it's a chance that she may not make it, but we already know she gonna be good. Now, LaWanda, she was pissed off. You know what I'm saying? The family, they came to the hospital, hoping that Terry was okay. But she's telling him, like, man, I hope she died or whatever. I mean, you pretty much ruined everything with our family. She's upset. She ain't going. Of course, Raw Dog Charles is there as well. Had me cracking up. LaWanda, she was like, that's what you get for messing around with a married lady or whatever. And Lucille was like, well, the apple does not fall far from the tree. And Charles is just looking like, really? Like, this is not the time and place for all that. Lucille said, you know what? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to call you out any chance that I get. Now, Nicole was very upset. She was worried about her brother, telling him she does not want to lose him. Y'all know Terry told her, look, it's going to be okay. He going to be good. He ain't going nowhere. Now, after that, we end up going back to Magic City, right? Because at the end of season 2, your boy Meech, he was supposed to be meeting up with Rodney Granny Green. And we see him right here. Your boy Neo has entered the BMF universe. And we know Meech, he needs some help or whatever, trying to set up shop down there, telling him he needs some spots to clean his cash. And, maybe different connections, with people down there. Now, Rodney tells him, like, look, he can help him out, but he's going to need 15 of those things, right? And he tells him, look, I'm all you got. And after they end up agreeing, he tells him, look, let's go to the Platinum Palace because that's where all the exotic chicks are at. So they end up, getting ready to go there. Your boy Meech hops on the phone, has a conversation with Hoop, learns about Terry and what happened to Markeisha. We know Terry is telling Meech he wants payback, you know what I'm saying? And he ain't playing around. Now, Meech tells him, like, look, you need to calm down. You need to take your own advice or whatever. You need to just breathe and think about this, right? Because you can mess up a lot of different things by going out there and doing something stupid. But Terry don't give a damn. He wants to do things his way. I mean, he's so upset. He's going off on Hoop and Roland or whatever, talking about if y'all want to go down there with him, then go or whatever. So it's kind of hot right now between the two brothers. Now, Meech, he gets down to the Platinum Palace with Rodney Greeny Green. He sees all the ladies. You know what I'm saying? He wants to get, his hands on these ladies, y'all. But Rodney tells him, look, you got to hold your horses. You know what I'm saying? They messing around with these NBA cats right now, and you got to compete with them. But Meech ends up going to have a conversation with Duffy. We end up getting an introduction to his character. We know Sterling has some guys down there that, are cool with him. And of course, now they know who Meech is. And we end up meeting a character named Diesel on the left. We know your boy 2 Chainz, he plays Stacks, and he is Deanna's uncle. Deanna, of course, played by Young Miami that we saw last season. Ty Washington's ex-girl, that is her uncle. And right by him is a character named Rip. Some of you guys mentioned that y'all believe this Rip character could be Blue Da Vinci. Y'all let me know down below, but we know in this episode he was in the studio, rapping, and Meech told him maybe he should stay off the streets hustling and stick to music. But we're going to see what they do with that storyline. Now, as they're sitting there talking, they end up seeing Remy. He is there as well. And they get pissed off because they know he is the reason Ty Washington is up out of here. So now Meech, he goes over there and just blasts him straight in the face. A fight breaks out at the Platinum Palace. I mean, it's going down, man. I mean, it's a straight up brawl. And Meech and his boys, they getting the best of Remy and his guys. I mean, Cass was getting hit with bottles. I know your boy Rodney Greeny Green, like, man, I bring this dude up in this club and he's already in here fighting. But it's Detroit versus everybody, so anybody can get it. And of course, these guys had to pay, man, especially for what happened to Ty Washington. Now, Meech is having a conversation with Stacks and the whole crew, letting them know he gonna take care of them. He gonna be their new plug. Of course, he got some weight coming in that him and Terry end up getting at the end of season 2, and they gonna be good. But Stacks is like, man, screw all that. He don't really know him like that. And he don't believe anything he's talking about as far as him and Ty Washington agreeing no business. And he's like, screw it. We getting up out of here. And he was wondering why, Ty Washington never told him about Meech in the first place. But, I mean, it is what it is. We know later on in the episode they're going to agree on business. But they have to get everything in line because without Stacks, Meech will not be able to get Ty Washington's distros, right? And they end up talking about, the war between the Techwood Boys and the MK Killers, right? And we know Remy, he's a part of the whole, the Techwood Boys. They're in a war with the MK Killers, who is ran by a character named Glock, which I think we will be introduced to very soon. Now we get to Remy, he's outside with his crew. They're out here talking to these kids, end up handing them all lunch bags with what in those. And of course, all of a sudden, we see the Red Dogs. And Officer Kang, he ain't playing around, right? And we know Milton, little boy right here, he was talking about how the city was going to tear down the homes because of the Olympic Games, right? Not only did they want to do that, they wanted to destroy every drug dealer, right? The whole slogan was run every drug dealer out of Georgia. And that's exactly what they was trying to do. I mean, they wasn't playing around back in those days, man. The Red Dogs will be a threat in season 3, but they beat the dog crap out of Remy and his crew. And I want to know how everything's going to play out with them. Now, we get to your boy, Raw Dog Charles. You know what I'm saying? Him and Lucille, they were hugging. And for a moment, it seemed like everything was okay. But Lucille knows that everything ain't okay. And she tells him, like, look, she wants to go ahead and go through with that divorce. Charles was talking about, man, that's too expensive. We can't afford it. I know you still got feelings for me. I can tell because of the way, you was acting when I held you, right? So he's trying to keep everything together, but Lucille's like, hell nah. How about you not sleep in this bed? Sleep on a couch. Charles is like, look, this is my house. I ain't sleeping on no damn couch. It ain't happening, right? I'm the man of the house. Well, she told him, you stopped being the man of the house a long time ago. She ain't feeling it. I mean, Charles, I guess you might as well call Mabel Jones. I mean, it's over. No, I'm saying go ahead and call her and go ahead and clap those cheeks because Lucille is about to get her groove back with somebody else real soon. Now we get to Kevin and Detective Bryant, and it's kind of sad because Kevin is thinking like he's going to get out eventually or whatever. He's not really understanding how serious this is. Detective Bryant is telling him everything's going to be all right. He just has to get a good lawyer, right? And he has a conversation with Detective Veronica Jen. She's upset that he's even there. And we know she got suspended from the Drano task force that she was a part of, and she's being investigated as well, which could be the reason why she took those drugs later on in the episode. Maybe she's trying to, cover her and Detective Bryant's tracks from last season. Now, we know Detective Bryant was upset talking about Terry and B. Mickey, they're free, but his son, he's locked up and he's very pissed off. And y'all know Detective Veronica Jen was telling him he is going to figure it out and all that stuff. Well, you're right. He going to figure it out. He will get his payback eventually, even if it does take 20 plus years. Now, we get to Hoop and Terry. We know they had a disagreement earlier on in the episode. We saw some of this exclusive clip last week, but we know Hoop will be going down to Atlanta to take Meech, some of that product, right? So he can give out to Ty Washington's old crew. Now, they end up making up everything was good. We get to Sterling, and we know Sterling, he was kind of worried because he's like, man, what if K9 ends up snitching on all of y'all? Can we trust him? Well, Terry tells him we took his connect and he didn't say anything because y'all know it was more of a respect type thing with K9. He ain't gonna snitch on Meech and Terry, right? So he is good. But Terry does tell him, when you get eyes on Saint, let me know, because when that happens, I want to take the final shot on him. I want to get rid of him. But we know Sterling Black will not let that happen because he's going to have a conversation with Meech, and we know Meech is going to tell him to do it yourself because we cannot allow Terry to get caught up in any of that. Now, we get to Meech, we get to your boy Duffy, and we see Rip. He's in the studio rapping, of course. This is why a lot of you guys end up mentioning that y'all believe this could be Blue Da Vinci's character. Now, Meech tells him that he's very talented and that once he blows up, basically, he don't want him hustling anymore. He doesn't want him out here risking his life, knowing that he could be doing something else within the music business. But y'all let me know if y'all believe this could be Blue Da Vinci's character. Now, Meech does have a conversation with Sterling Black, and this is where he tells him about, Terry wanting to take down Saint. And this is where Meech tells him, do not allow that to happen at all. Now, after that, we end up seeing Lucille. She is struggling once again at work. It ain't going too well, right? Your boy Roland, he popped up with food, flowers. He's looking out for, Meech's moms, just like Meech told him to do at the end of season 2. He's just doing what he told him. He has a key to the house, and your boy Raw Dog Charles, he was upset. I mean, he was kind of laughing it off at first, but then he took, Roland to the side and told him to give him the key and don't pop up at the house no more. I mean, I know he had to feel some type of way about that to see Roland come up in there and make, Lucille smile and basically feel like another man was taking care of the family. Man, I know that gotta hurt. Now, Meech has another conversation with Stax, but this time Stax is cool because now Meech has brought that product and he told him like, look, I'm going to give you, this product for 25 instead of 30. And he's just looking out for him because, of Ty Washington and everything like that. But Stax is like, okay, let's do business. Now, Duffy comes in and they end up talking about how he took, the discount or whatever. And Meech says, look, if anybody says anything about that discounted price, we know Stax is out there running his mouth. And he ended up making this deal because he wants to undercut the Miami Killers. So he wants to make sure he's moving weight faster than anybody else. That's the whole game plan. I mean, we're going to see how this all plays out. You guys let me know. Does 2 Chainz' character Stax make it out the season alive? Can he really be trusted? Well, we're going to find out soon enough. Now, Detective Veronica Jen and her new partner, Detective Amberson, they come there to ask her questions about Boom and if Boom ordered the hit on them or whatever because her hanging around with Terry. They asked her questions about Saint as well. Now, Markeisha, she ain't stupid. She's like, look, I know you guys were the ones that gave Boom those pictures with me and Terry, so maybe y'all should be blaming yourselves for all of this. Now, Veronica Jen's partner, Detective Amberson, she asked her, is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying? You got kids. Is the D that good? And Markeisha's like, look, yeah, every inch. And it seemed like Detective Amberson wanted her turn. She had like a little smirk on her face like, man, I'm trying to get my cheeks clapped too. I want to find out for myself. But this whole scene was funny. You know your girl Markeisha, regardless if you like her or not, she's a ride or die no matter what. Now T and Sterling have a conversation about Saint And we know Sterling tells him they found him, but he is taken care of. He is up out of here. And we can tell Terry was kind of upset about it, talking about that was supposed to be my kill. I can't have people out here running their mouth and doing what they've been doing to me, and I don't do nothing back. I can't go. Now he understands that Meech was the one behind all of this, and Sterling tells him, like, look, a guy like you that's in the higher ups, they cannot afford to get their hands dirty. It's not really worth it, right? And he tells him, like, look, I'm not gonna say nothing. Let the streets think what the streets gonna think. And maybe you shouldn't say anything either, right? So we're gonna see how this all plays out. But you can tell that he really wanted to do this. But at the end of the day, I believe, Sterling is right. I mean, you high up on the food chain. You know what I'm saying? You can't be getting your hands dirty, especially if you got some guys that's lower on the food chain that's willing to do it, and you know what I'm saying, and take care of business. The only thing is the fingerprints. Will they come back to Sterling? Will he be willing to take time? Well, we gonna find out soon enough if that is the case. Now we get to Dice, Duffy, and Meech. Now Dice is from season 2 where Meech went to Atlanta and he was doing business. Now Dice is telling him about Remy and how Remy pretty much lost his brother. I guess his brother was real young and they found his body all tore up. I mean, it was sad. And he explains why, Remy ended up doing the things he was doing for the Techwood PJs or whatever. I mean, he was looking out for his people for the most part, but that event ended up changing him a lot and made him more dangerous. Now, we know Meech and Duffy, they went to go pick up Rip to collect that bread, and all of a sudden, Remy's boys, they pop up, they start shooting, and Rip ends up getting shot. Now, he's able to get in the car. It was not looking too good. All of a sudden, the MK killers, they come out of nowhere. We see Meech, he is shooting back at Remy's crew, but the MK killers, they end up dropping off Remy's boys easy because we know they got some heavy weapons, y'all. Now, Clyde tells Remy about their soldiers that end up being taken out by the MKs. He also tells him about Meech and what he is doing and how basically it's a lot of people that's trying to take his territory, that's trying to take his business away, right? And Remy, he ain't having it. So y'all know he wants to get ready for this war and he is not going to go out without a fight. Now we get back to Kevin and now he is being transferred to the juvenile detention and it ain't looking too good. He's kind of confused like, man, what's going on? I thought I was going to be good. Detective Bryant is telling him, look, don't take no favors from nobody. Don't be asking a lot of questions. Basically, just do what you gotta do and stay strong. And I know this had to eat him up inside because he understands that his son was just trying to protect himself. And at the end of the day, he did what he had to do. But now he has to suffer these consequences. I'm just hoping nothing bad happens to Kevin. But based off the official trailer and the pictures that's been coming out, man, I'm hoping that that funeral that him and Gloria, who is played by Cynthia Bailey, are at, because that's what it seems like, they're at a funeral. Hopefully it's not Kevin's, y'all, and somebody else's, but we're going to see soon enough. Now, Markeisha has recovered enough to where she can go home. We know Terry tells her about, Saint and that he's good, he is taken care of. And Markeisha is just glad that everything is good. And we know she's a ride or die, and she's willing to roll with Terry no matter what. Now, this is where it gets kind of funny because Terry didn't give a damn. He decides to take Markeisha to the family dinner. The sad part is LaWanda, she is there and she is pissed off. She's going off on Terry for doing this, right? Now, we know Raw Dog Charles was there talking about you need to take care of your responsibilities and all this stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard for Charles to give advice, especially after what he has done. So it's just all funny. This whole scene was completely funny. But we know Terry wanted to make sure that Markeisha had a safe place to stay after what happened to her, right? And we know he said, you know what? I can't stay here no more with y'all breathing all down my neck. I cannot be here anymore. So he's going to get his own place. We know Charles now is being told to move in Terry's, old room because Lucille does not want him in her bedroom. So y'all know he gonna stay in the doghouse the entire season. Now, we get to Detective Bryant. We can see him burning up the picture of Terry and Meech. He is pissed off. He's outside the juvenile detention and he's all in his feelings, man. He wants to make sure that his boy is good, but as of right now, it ain't looking too good for young Kevin. Now we get to Detective Veronica Jen and her partner. They go to the scene of Saint. His body is there. He is dropped off. I believe they try to get some fingerprint and Detective Veronica Jen. She takes some of the drugs that were there, and some of you guys did mention maybe she's trying to cover her and Detective Bryant's tracks from season 2 with the whole drugs in the evidence locker and stuff like that. So that's probably the case. We know they're both under investigation, so she got to do whatever she has to do to protect herself at all costs. Now, we get to Terry and the crew. Everybody's happy about what happened to Saint, and they're all believing that Terry was the one that did this, but we know he wasn't. And Sterling gave him that look like, man, it is what it is. I ain't saying nothing. And we know Meech tells Terry, like, look, you know what I'm saying? I did what I had to do to protect my baby brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm going to do no matter what. He goes over, the highway system, the interstate, and how they're basically going to move this weight throughout the entire country. And this is just the beginning. They're about to take over the nation. Now, at the end of the episode, we know Meech and the crew, they're going to go to this club. They're going to try to go and meet this character named Glock. Now, Glock supposedly is the leader of the MKs. Now, Meech believes if he goes there, has a conversation with him, maybe he can get cool with him and they can be, business partners. And then they could eliminate, your boy Remy and get him up out of the picture. The enemy of my enemy is my friend logic, right? But we know his boys, they ain't going. They ain't trying to let Meech up in the club. And it seems like it's some issues. So now they have to basically regroup and go somewhere else. But as they're leaving, we see Remy. He pops up out of nowhere, pulls up, and then grabs, Dice out of the car and throws his body on the ground, letting them know what time it is and letting them know he's not going out without a fight and they can be next. They could be the next body that gets dropped off. So it seems like the approach that Meech is trying to have, which is not trying to go to war with people, trying to do business, everybody can eat. It's not going to work with everybody. And when we talk about everybody, we're talking about maybe this Glock character. And in damn sure ain't about to happen with no, Remy at all, especially after what happened to Ty Washington. So at the end of the episode, we know Meech is talking about, it seems like once again, it's Detroit versus everybody. His approach that he usually has is not going to work. This whole Atlanta and Miami thing is crazy, right? So we're going to see how he handles this. I mean, he has a lot on his plate, but this time he is not going to have his brother right there by his side because he's down there with Atlanta with a whole new family. And it's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to navigate everything and end up taking over. But you guys let me know, how did you feel about episode 1? I told you guys this was a very solid episode. It was an okay episode, a build up for what's to come. A lot of action was in this first episode, a lot of new faces. I mean, once we get used to these new characters and the other new characters that we're going to, eventually see later on in the season, I believe that's when things are going to heat up even more, and I cannot wait to see it. But leave those theories, predictions, leave it all down below. You already know we're going to talk about episode 2, go over that trailer, give you guys that what to expect video over the weekend. So I want you guys to prepare for that. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.